When I first started planting this food forest, I thought I had it all figured out. I did the courses, I read the books, I scribed out all the plans, and then the land, the weather, and life itself said, think again. In this video, I want to share what really happened in my first year, the mistakes I made, what actually worked, and the lessons I learned the hard way. If you're thinking about starting a food forest system in the Mediterranean climate like Portugal, then this video is for you. I came into this project with so much passion. I wanted to create something that would feed people, that would restore the land and reconnect me with something more real. But the way I went about it, in hindsight, I realized that I was acting more like a designer, less like a gardener. And because of that, I made mistakes. So let's begin talking about them. I'm sharing them because I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I did. So the advice goes, observe for a year before planting your trees. And the mistake I made was underestimating the importance of this step. When spring came, 8 months after buying this land, I was really excited and eager to get started on implementing my design, something which I'd thought about for a long time, by getting some trees in the ground. Now, I don't regret taking that action, but what I missed out on was observing the toughest season, which is summer. It's wise to know what happens in an extended dry spell on your place before spending money on loads of trees, watching the shadows, the wind direction, and what happens to the soil. And it's amazing how much the land will tell you if you're patient enough to listen. So the next 3 mistakes are spin-offs from that, really. Had I known that the well water would dry up in late summer, I wouldn't have planted 30 trees. But you know, I got a little carried away at the tree nursery. You might know that feeling. When the convenient water supply dried up, the options I had was to let some of the trees die or carry buckets of water from the river. I did it, but I wouldn't recommend it. The main problem was that I just simply had planted too many trees. My whole food forest design approach was based on the books written for the temperate climates. And here in Portugal, reality showed me that I had planted the trees just too far apart. And that first summer taught me a lot about stress, for the plants and for me. Put it this way, you'll probably find it easier to cope with tough times when you have supportive people around you. I know I do, and I think the trees are the same. The sun. It's one of the biggest challenges in this climate, and the midsummer sun in the middle of Portugal burns big time. Even if one of these nursery labels or an online database says a tree likes full sun, I think what it really means is it likes full sun at a mature height. So I've noticed that they do better when they're young with a little bit of shade. Now, not everything was a mistake. A lot of things went beautifully. First, I focused on diversity. Lots of different species of trees, both support species and fruit and nut trees. And that taught me something. The ones that survived and now thrive suited the conditions at the time. And the ones that didn't, it just wasn't their right time. So I began to let nature teach me more. When I saw plants growing naturally and thriving, I stopped pulling them up and started learning from them instead. Selectively pruning species like this Spanish broom helped them to grow up tall and provide shade for the trees that needed it. I used the cuttings as mulch to place around my fruit and nut trees, creating that spongy, insulative layer of biomass, just like a natural forest. And the key ingredient in all of this, I kept showing up, even when things didn't go to plan. That consistency made the difference. If I had to do year 1 again, here's what I'd do differently. Firstly, I'd start smaller, keeping within my means, and build up in layers. I'd aim to achieve success on something manageable and then scale up later. Secondly, I'd harvest the seeds of fast-growing indigenous species and plant a ton of them a year ahead of the fruit and nut trees. These kind of species would be the supportive pioneer species like rock rose, Spanish broom, mulberry, golden rain tree, black locust. I'd get them in the ground so they can start creating the ideal conditions to plant the fruit and nut trees in year 2. Thirdly, whilst those pioneers are in the ground, I'd focus on capturing a lot more rainwater using everything from wood stores to chicken coops. Fourth, I take cuttings and sow seeds of things that I want in my system so I can save myself some money in the long run and that they're ready to plant when the time is right. Finally, and honestly, I'd worry less. It doesn't help anyone to put that kind of energy into it, and the land can handle more than we think. Building a food forest isn't about getting it right. It's about building a relationship with the land, with yourself, and with the process. If you're just starting out, know this. Mistakes will be your best teachers, and the plants are more forgiving than you think. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. I've got more coming on Mediterranean food forestry, rainwater harvesting systems, and some natural building too. And if you want a free year 1 starter guide, including my top tips of what to do during that first year of observation, the link is in the description. I've made it for people just like you, starting out and dreaming big. Thanks for walking with me. See you in the next one.